Welcome to the Off the Top podcast. Today we are talking pro wrestling, and we're going to start with what should we start with, guys? Should we start with some SmackDown talk? Should we start with AEW Revolution? What do y'all
I
think?
say
Where do we go?
we go chronologically.
I think we can go.
Chronologically, so we're going to talk SmackDown.
There you go.
So the big thing that happened on SmackDown was The Rock coming back, and there was a bloodline promo. A whole bloodline in the ring. What did y'all think about the bloodline promo? Did anything stand out to y'all? Where do y'all think we're going with this whole story? We'll go ahead and start with Bryan as I get this thing posted up on Twitter.
Well, before we go to the SmackDown promo, we got to talk about The Rock's 21-minute promo that he put on. I don't think we got to that. So, that with The Rock and all that, bro, the 21 promo actually explained a lot. It was a long promo, but it explained a lot. And then we got the report after SmackDown that the reason why The Rock did that was because they weren't going to have enough time to do it. They still didn't have enough time to do what they was going to say because they went over by 10 minutes. So it was a good promo, the 21-minute promo. Cody should have addressed what The Rock addressed in that promo first, though. It should have not been The Rock who put the pieces together. But I did hear somebody say that it's good that The Rock is doing what he's doing because it's going to show like The Rock controls the narrative, and that's kind of like what part of the storyline is. I just heard that, and I kind of do agree. But then you go to the SmackDown promo. It was long, bruh. Not gonna lie, there was some stuff that didn't stand out to me. But what stood out to me was Paul Heyman looking at The Rock when The Rock had the L up instead of we the ones up. So I don't know, man. I'm kind of reading in between the lines with that. And yeah, I think personally, I think it's good for the story, but we need Cody to confront The Rock, and I think that's finally happening tomorrow, right, guys?
We'll see. But
Yeah.
interesting you brought up that 21-minute promo because that was masterclass at work. People say The Rock can't cut a promo. He needs the right stuff on his wrist. But this man went on that camera and cut a 21-minute promo. And I didn't get bored the whole time. I wanted it to keep going. And then to follow it up on SmackDown, one thing that was, I think, really interesting that they're trying to build up is the fact that Roman Reigns is unsure of what's going on. When he came in and he cut his promo, he said, "Acknowledge me." He was like, "Wait a minute. It used to be louder. Acknowledge me. I'm going to give you one more chance. Acknowledge me. If you don't, I'm out of here." And from there, The Rock came out, but Roman Reigns was looking uneasy the whole time The Rock was cutting his promo. And as The Rock came out and cut that masterclass promo that was absolutely not too long, I don't know what Brian's talking about there, Roman Reigns walked up to him and stopped him when he was doing "If You Smell What The Rock Is Cooking," and he told him straight up to his face, "Acknowledge me." And The Rock stood there, took his glasses off, looked him in the eye, and told him, "I acknowledge you as the tribal chief." So that was interesting. The fans went out and said, "You sold out," or whatever. And The Rock told him to go smoke some more crack, which was very interesting to top off the masterclass promo. But you're right. He threw up the L, switched it to the one, threw it back up to the L, switched it back to the one. And I don't know where that's leading us. So what do y'all think about it? What do you think, Mr.Dubbs, about that whole situation, the whole scenario that we saw?
I mean, we talk about Swerve can't cut a promo live and has issues, but in backstage segments, it's great. So, I mean, if you want to say The Rock can cut a 21-minute promo when he can cut it together many times, take 7 takes on it, sure, that's great. But I will say that promo on Friday in front of a live audience was absolutely incredible. I was laughing the whole time. I had to pause it, rewind it, stop my girlfriend from what she was doing, whether she was making dinner at any time. It was just like, she can't stand it when I do it, but I'm like, "Babe, you got to hear this. This is like hilarious." And I would have to rewind. Like, this was a promo that I was proud to show to other people that aren't in the wrestling bubble. And that's saying something, right? When you have to stop and show your friends or show your girlfriend and be like, listen, this is hilarious. This is, I might do that for certain spots in a match, but for a promo, I'm never doing that anymore. So The Rock accomplished his mission when he was calling all the fans just crackheads and crackhead Karens and meth head Marins or something like that. Like my girlfriend's trying to think of it, but it's just absolutely
You gotta come join the
hilarious.
podcast. Tell her to jump in here.
Yeah, no, you got to come join the podcast, man. But it was absolutely like a promo that I haven't seen. Like, I haven't had a promo make me laugh that much in a long time. The Rock still has it. He's definitely a very special talent. I think the ones though, like that's so obvious, throwing the guns up. He keeps giving a shout out to the boys over at AEW, throwing the guns up. That's obviously very clearly Seth Rollins. You guys just did it on Monday as well in that segment. It's obviously leading to something. Wrestling's never subtle. When they're trying to be subtle, they have to intentionally not be subtle, so their entire audience catches it. But I look forward to it. I look forward to seeing what happens because you're right. Roman looked uneasy that entire promo. And even the Game of Thrones style when he says, I just need you to, family is above everything to me, but I just need you to do one thing. And I need you to bend the knee and I need you to acknowledge me, and it was very Game of Thrones-esque and I loved it and it was fantastic. And even after he did it, Roman still seemed kind of uneasy, but was like, okay, well, you did it. So, I mean, I'm loving it. It's great television. Best part of WWE by far is this whole angle.
All right. And you know what? One thing really stood out there to me as far as what you just said. Did you just compare The Rock's promo to Swerve Strickland's?
No, I was saying that you were immediately saying how when on Instagram, how he could cut a 21-minute promo. You're like, oh, it's amazing he can cut that. And we were just talking last week about how I thought his segment backstage with MJF, but you're like, yeah, but that's a pre-tape. It doesn't matter. You can take 7 takes on that. It's all about doing it live, pal. And I was just saying, yeah, so he did a 21-minute promo. He didn't need a scripter to read off his hand. Well, again, he could have made that take 30 times, right? It wasn't in front of a live audience.
We're talking about.
But his promo in front of the live audience.
Swerve Strickland correlation in with the promo.
It was just strictly what you said, where you said he can cut a 21-minute promo without having to look at his hands. You were so impressed as if it was a live promo, but I was just pointing out that was not a live promo. His live promo was awesome, but the 21 minutes was not a live promo, right? That's all I was pointing out.
And Swerve Strickland clicked in your head when I was talking about a Rock promo. I'm just saying it's
because you were comparing it as if he was doing a live promo.
My boy, Kero.
He was not doing a live promo for that.
For me,
Kero, what did you think about ongoings on SmackDown?
That promo was everything about SmackDown, and after that, I don't remember much happening. Did we have Randy Orton and Austin Theory? After that, that was actually a pretty good SmackDown from start to finish because Austin Theory and Randy was a great way to finish that show. Those wow, I love it. As far as Rock's promo goes, man, like the one before that, I actually didn't like. I thought The Rock kind of fumbled. It was, again, just a masterclass of a promo and way better than anybody else, of course, but it wasn't up to the standards of The Rock, especially because he tried to do what he tried to do in 2003 when he came back as the Hollywood Rock. And he was like, oh, you want to boo The Rock? And he's going like, if you smell. And he tried to play to the crowd, and the crowd really didn't give him the reaction he was looking for. It just felt kind of awkward. But this week, man, or whatever week it was, last week on Friday, it was insane. Like, it was absolutely amazing. Every single second of it, every single sentence he said, you wanted to hear it, and it just genuinely made you laugh. Like, I didn't force myself to laugh, or it wasn't like blowing air out of your nose type of laugh. It was like actual chuckles and actual laughs out of me, and I don't remember doing that for so long. I mean, it has to be like, I don't know, back in 2010 or 11 when The Rock and John Cena was beefing, and The Rock would cut promos and John Cena would come out with the Thuganomics gimmick, and that's when I was like really, really laughing. It reminded me of those fun times. It was an excellent promo. Like, I could just sit down and watch that for 2 hours. It doesn't have to be just 15 minutes. You know what I mean? I could watch it forever. I just loved it. And I gotta be honest, the story kind of sucks because Rock just confirmed that Cody did say, yeah, Rock, just take the main event from me. He still looks like a doofus, but the entertainment value is so high that it's hard to really think about it. Maybe in retrospect, we'll look back at this and say like, oh, how stupid was the story? But right now, I think we're all just enjoying the ride. And like I said, because it's so entertaining, I'm willing to ignore some of these issues. And I just can't wait to see what The Rock and the Bloodline does tomorrow, because I loved what they did with Roman Reigns as well. Like, he finally got back into the game, man. He finally almost reappeared when he grabbed Rock's arm. And just the acting from The Rock, obviously he's not the greatest actor in the world, but when it comes to the WWE, he's up there. He's way better than everybody. So I just loved it. The tension, the Bullet Club thing. I just want to see where it goes, because how is The Rock going to work with Seth Rollins now? And the only way Seth Rollins recovers from this, by the way, ever, is that if he betrays, I don't know, Roman Reigns, or if he betrays, not Roman Reigns, but like, maybe he can betray Roman Reigns. Like he'll betray Cody, and make us think like it's buddy with Roman, but he'll betray Roman as well. I don't know. Like, so there's a lot of things to think about, a lot of interesting ways this can go. I love it. Like, I want to just follow this program right now forever. And it's so nice to say this because for a long while, the Bloodline storyline, especially when Jay and Jimmy, like, they got out of there and stuff, it died completely. Now we're getting it back finally. Last thing I want to say is that it's obvious that, I mean, for, again, obvious reasons, Rock has complete freedom of what he wants to say. He can say basically anything, almost swear. This felt like an Attitude Era promo, just basically. I mean, just like, he was just free. And everything he said felt like someone would actually say this, like an actual human being would say this. Like, we're sitting down with a buddy and he's talking crap to us, right? But when we look at Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes, I just want to, I'm jumping forward a tiny bit. I just want to make this comparison. When I looked at their promo, it felt like it was a scripted, written promo that, and an AI was saying. It didn't feel natural at all, and that's kind of worrying for me. But I'm sure we'll talk about Raw a little bit later, so I'm just gonna leave it at that. I just loved every second of it, and I want to see more.
Absolutely, and very well put, because I agree with you when you said that how entertaining this promo was. I see a dummy account, in the chat said, I love long promos, and a lot of people were complaining the promo's too long. It's too long. Get to the wrestling matches. And I think the promos are really what wrestling is. If you remember WWE Raw when it was like during the hot days, they didn't start out with these hot matches when it was just flashing back and forth. There was a story they started out with, and a lot of times it was Triple H cutting like a 20-minute promo, but that thread through what was going to happen throughout the night. And I don't mind long promos at all, because what they do is build story, and that's exactly what The Rock was doing when he was out there. We think about the seeds that were being planted. The Rock's confident cutting his promo, Roman Reigns in the corner, like cringing mad because of what he said before that. I thought it was very well done. And again, like you said, I'm excited to watch SmackDown tomorrow, and I haven't been that way in a very long time. So masterclass stuff they went with on Thursday, last Friday. But what we also saw was Jade Cargill. So we saw Dakota Kai, I believe that was last Friday. She finally, not finally, she already turned on Bayley. I'm actually not on your side. That's not what we're doing. But when they got backstage and they kind of started, I think they were chasing Bayley or something. And then Jade Cargill just popped out and she like approached the girls. Bryan, where are we going with that?
It's hard to tell, bro, because I feel like Jade has been in certain things where we're like, oh, yeah, she's finally going to be in something, and then she gets pulled. So, like, for me, it's more like Bayley right now, she clearly has no friends, and they really showed that when it was 3 or 4 people ganging up on her and nobody came out to really help her. So, if Jade is going to be that person, then fine, but I don't know. She feels out of place in this storyline, if I'm being honest. Like, if she does get pushed into it, because like, she has nothing to do with it. Like, nothing at all. Like, you can't even, like, revisit history and be like, okay, 4 years ago, Bayley was in a tag team with her. Or, like, the only person that would remotely make sense would be Sasha Banks. Obviously, we know the circumstances with her, but that would be the only person that makes sense to me right now. Like, I just don't know how Jade fits in. But Jade could also be used backstage as like, an enforcer or somebody that people fear. So that could be just the point of the promo and nothing else. But I really hope that she has nothing to do with that storyline. Like, I just hope that they keep her out of it. She has nothing to do with that. Would make no sense.
Right. And before we got into this topic, I meant to say shout out to Real Take Wrestling in the building.
Thank you.
Omar also asked who's going to him with Dynasty. Omar, I don't know, man.
I don't know about that.
We're going to big business next week. We got WrestleMania coming up at the beginning of April. We're going to Money in the Bank, so I don't know if I can do Dynasty. We'll see. But let's go ahead and talk to Mr.Dubbs. What do you think about the Jade Cargill situation, Bayley, Damage Control? Where are we going with all of this?
Yeah.
If I want to see Jade at all in this, like between now and WrestleMania, I want to know she's getting a 1v1 match, and it should be against Nia Jax or Bianca Belair. I think it's too early for Bianca Belair, but you should have her have a strong win over Nia Jax. That should be her big debut match where she conquers another monster. I thought that's where they were going at the, around the Rumble, and we haven't seen anything. Now it's Becky's still feuding with Nia Jax. Like, what happened to Jade? Yeah. Why is Jade on? Like you said, Bryan, she has nothing to do with the story, and we don't need her in this Bayley story. It's such a weird spot for her that I would rather have her just taken off TV until after WrestleMania if you don't have real WrestleMania plans for her. I don't want to see her in Becky's corner at WrestleMania. That to me is not the spot of a star. You don't put your John Cena in that role. Yeah, I don't see that's not what you do with your up and coming big talent. Is she's just the muscle in the side? Like, I don't like it. I want to see her spotlighted if she's going to be at WrestleMania in a big 1v1 match. I don't care if it's a squash match. I don't care if she's squashing, Nia Jax or something, which the way they've been booking Nia lately, I don't think would happen. But you either showcase her or you just have her off TV this whole time. I don't want to see her on my television screen if you're just going to have her play as a second or third part in some other story, like greater storyline. I don't like it.
Agreed.
All right. What about you, Kero? What do you think? Where are we going with Jade Cargill and this damage control stuff?
I don't think we should read too much into it. I think it was just a throwaway backstage segment. But that being said, if you got nothing important to show Jade Cargill in, then don't show her at all, man. Well, it's better. It's better to just, when you have a storyline, put her out there. Even though it might feel a lot later, that's okay. But yeah, otherwise I agree with you guys. I just think this was like a small thing, and they're not gonna involve her into the storyline. That'd be super weird.
Yeah.
I think they might end up involving her because Damage Control, the Kabuki Warriors, they are the tag team champions, the women's tag team champions, and they are in Damage Control, right?
Yep, they are.
So they're going to need a story, and right now they really don't have any direction. They're just all harassing Bayley. And we see Jade Cargill jump in there. Bianca Belair wasn't on SmackDown last Friday. So if this continues, and let's say tomorrow night on SmackDown, they're beating up and harassing Bayley again, and we see Bianca Belair approach them this time. I think where we're going is, of course, Bayley and Io Sky for the women's championship, and they might do the thing they always do, throw the black people together in a tag team. So we might see Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair go up and take those tag team championships at WrestleMania. WrestleMania.
You cooking with that? I ain't gonna lie. That makes sense. If they're gonna do that, it makes sense. Have them be a tag team, and then one of them betrays each other, which would probably be Jade, and leads to WrestleMania match.
I think so. What do you think about that, Kero?
I would like the tag team actually, because they'd be strong, and it would actually be a women's tag team that I care about. So
yes,
agreed.
But they would need opponents.
I think they'll elevate that women's tag team division a lot too.
You also
put them in there.
You're also able to hide Jade's weaknesses if you put her in a
Yes.
tag team with Bianca, and she also gets to learn working a lot of the house shows and on the road with her. So I think that actually is a great idea.
I think it's good, and then you would literally have them destroying tag teams at that point because they're going to be a powerhouse, and then you finally get that point where probably next year on the road to WrestleMania, Jade turns her back on her, because I don't think they're going to turn Bianca heel. If they're going to turn anybody heel, it'll be Jade.
Oh,
that's exactly what I was going to say next. I think that's where we go. I think, like y'all said, it would really build up the women's tag team division. You got 2 stars. Like Dubbs said, Bianca does protect Jade's weaknesses. You can have Bianca on the road with her, them just learning, Jade learning from her on the road all year. And when we get to WrestleMania next year, the breakup happens where they lose the championship. You get those 2 feuding, and then you get your main event match. Well, maybe main event or mid-card, no matter where it is, I think it's going to hit Jade Cargill versus Bianca Belair for the first time actually touching each other. I think that'll be a big match for next year.
Hey, bro, I think that's a night one main event. I think that's the match you have as a night one main event, in my opinion.
If you build it like that with the tag team, with the betrayal and everything, I
agree. I don't care what woman wins the Royal Rumble this year. I need that in a main event.
But
see, you never know. You never know with WrestleMania.
To kind of skirt off away from that, did y'all see all of the Bianca Belair hate going on today?
Yep, I did.
Why is that? Could you explain a little bit?
Basically, Kenny, you can go, Kenny.
No, you can go ahead.
You brought it up, my boy. You could.
Well, there was a picture they put up on Instagram. Like it was of Cody Rhodes, Rhea Ripley, and Bianca Belair. I think they were saying, what do you think about the cover stars this year? And everybody a lot of people in the comment section were cooking Bianca. Sure, Cody, sure, Rhea Ripley, but why Bianca? You had some people saying, not Bianca Belair in a Confederate flag way. It was just a lot of that stuff under there. They were cooking her. So a lot of people on Twitter X came to her defense, saying, we love Bianca Belair. Even some of the big wrestling news websites that were coming to her defense.
Yeah,
it was pretty bad.
No, it was bad. It was very it was just crazy, bro. It just wasn't right to do. But I'm happy that I saw wrestlers stand up for her. It's like nobody didn't just stand there quiet. I saw Cody said something. Ivy Neal said something. So I'm glad that they spoke up for her. And Rhea Ripley also said something as well. So it was cool to see wrestlers stand up for each other. But yeah, that's not cool nor right.
Yeah, I just really don't like to give that stuff attention. For me, And like people just blowing it up, retweeting like, oh, these people, you're giving those people the attention that they don't deserve. So it's a positive and a negative. So yes, if she was seeing that stuff, then sure, I'm sure she needed that support. But I doubt she was going over, looking at the comment section, seeing what people were saying.
I agree.
So that kind of just put everything.
You know what's the issue with that though,
Kenny?
Kenny?
What?
The issue is that if they stay quiet, people be like, "Oh, look at them!" Like now they're quiet, they're not defending them. Like they were literally saying that. That was, I think that's like, I don't want to say that's why they spoke up, but I'm sure like that was that like that would be the narrative. Like if they just decided to ignore it as a locker room, they would be like, "Oh, they didn't speak up for her," whatever the case is. So it would be bad either way. You know what I'm saying?
And I commend the wrestlers for standing up. So not them. I'm talking about the fans who went in that comment section.
Yeah.
Screenshot the pictures, put it on X so it could go viral. Now that's bringing attention to the people who are saying all of that bad stuff. So
yeah,
I think it was just unnecessary, and it's just a bad situation overall.
100%.
I think that's just Twitter.
I didn't even know this. I wasn't aware this even happened.
Yeah, this happened earlier today. It was crazy.
I told you, Dynasty man, I don't be on the bleeds like that, but maybe I'll do it with you one day. I don't know. We'll see.
I was gonna say, yeah, you got Dynasty in the chat calling you out.
I'm not a smoker, y'all. But let's go ahead and move on to the next topic. What else? Anything else on SmackDown y'all want to touch on, or should we move on to the best pay-per-view of the year, Revolution?
I don't think there's nothing to talk about. Let's go ahead and talk about Revolution.
All right, so Revolution. So y'all were complaining about the pay-per-view as it was going on when we were watching it live, but after I looked at a few reviews and other people talking about it, they were saying like this was a really hot show. Did y'all see all the praise going on, or do y'all stand on y'all decision that it was better?
To be fair, I think we were all in agreement that the first matches up into that beefy match that was supposed to be Meat Mayhem that turned into that it was terrible, and there was botchamania all over that match, and then there on. After that pay-per-view turned it completely around.
I'll say
like it was an amazing card after that, but that match was just not. That should have been on the pre-show.
I'll say this: the Toni Storm and Deonna Purrazzo match. After that, the pay-per-view completely shifted into
100%.
good. And I know that I said some bad things about it, but I also gave them their props, bro. That I know we're gonna talk about it, but that Osprey match was fantastic. Like there was some good stuff on there. So it was just that like. That Meaty Man match and them throwing matches together like that's what I'm standing on. Like when you throw like matches together and it's like, bro, like what is this even about? That is what disappoints me, because I know you want to fit everybody in on the pay-per-view because you have one pay-per-view, every 2-3 months. So I get it, but at the same time, like you also got to think about the audience and the view and what you've been putting on TV the past couple weeks, and you got to match that energy, bro. You can't just be throwing everybody in there like. I don't know.
No, I agree. I absolutely agree. I still stand on it that it was bad to begin with, but I think the Toni Storm match was actually good. So you're saying you didn't like the Toni Storm Deonna Purrazzo match?
No, I mean like that. I feel like that match was
the turning point.
Yeah,
that was the turning point of the card going from not great to one of the best, like the best of the year, right?
For sure. That to me, like after that match, I was like during that match and after I was locked in. Because after that match, then you had the Will Ospreay match, you had their match, then you had the tag
team match of the BCC.
Yeah, and then you had that
BBC match. Yeah. That was I didn't like the BBC match.
You didn't like the BCC FTR and BCC?
I mean,
that was great.
You saying it wrong, Dubbs? It's BBC.
It's the BBC.
the black BPCC versus FTR. Sorry, the Legion of Doom 2024 against the Rockers or whatever.
No, BBC versus FTR. But yeah, it was just
I love the spikes.
He does his thing, but yeah, it wasn't.
He doesn't do his thing. That match has shown me he doesn't care anymore at all, dude. Like
to me, that match was a showcase of Claudio and how talented he is. Really, that was a great
Claudio,
match.
He was in there doing that.
I thought I always confuse them. Dax, the one who bled, Dax Harwood looked fantastic in that match as well. Yeah.
Baldy. They've been losing for 5 years straight up every single big match. Like no, they're beyond saving.
I guess you don't appreciate storytelling in the ring. I do.
That's
dude. I thought it was great storytelling. Personally, I thought he did a great job.
I appreciate good storytelling. There you go. Not bad storytelling, which is FTR in AEW basically.
Ooh,
they had a good win against the.
I think FTR does some of the best storytelling.
They had a good win against the Bucks. At All In, they had a good win against them.
But yeah,
I thought they had a great showing at this pay-per-view. I thought that match was great.
Dax is going
through. That match was
Cash?
100%.
Yeah, he pulled out the
Allegedly.
Glock?
Allegedly.
The Glock 18,
Allegedly.
allegedly.
Yeah.
I don't think
Allegedly.
I mean, it's
Bang while you
allegedly,
was
but there's a
driving.
video. So.
Everything's allegedly until it's proven in court,
Nah,
right?
there's a video, bro. If it's on video, it is what it is.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it in deep
My
fakes
boy,
or
my
something
boy was
else,
in there
brother.
cooking.
Deep fakes or something else these days, brother.
But let's talk about the match of the night, match of the year so far, maybe. But you know what? It's kind of tough to say. I don't know. Konosuke Takeshita versus Will Osprey. Will Osprey is in AEW cooking right now because he had another match last night and it was another banger.
Yep, he don't
What
know
do
how to
y'all
have a
think?
TV match.
You said it, yeah.
No.
I think
Go
Will
ahead.
Ospreay's incredible. I think I'm so happy to see he's still wrestling like this in AEW because Kenny Omega was not. That was my biggest fear, is that he was going to have that. Kenny Omega came to AEW and only had these matches once every big pay-per-view in a singles match. Or, you know what I mean? Like, he wasn't having these matches week to week. We're seeing Ospreay come off that pay-per-view. Obviously, he has to debut hot, but seeing how he wrestled, even with that like hematoma on his, on his ribs, on his liver or whatever, from when he took that drop from Konosuke on the turnbuckle, he still wrestled such an incredible match. And I am definitely looking forward to seeing what's coming soon. But we'll get to that with Will Ospreay, because
that's actually my question, because we saw he put on a world beater match at Revolution, world beater match on Dynamite. Swerve Strickland and Hangman Page. Apparently, Hangman Page is out for a while, but Swerve Strickland took the L to Samoa Joe. So everybody was saying Swerve Strickland is next up. He's next up. If he is next up.
Wardlow's next up. They made that clear.
No, I mean next up, like everybody's saying he's gonna be the next champion.
Oh God! So you don't think Wardlow has a chance, really?
Wardlow has absolutely.
He's buried like 5 times. What? Get out of here!
I don't know. I think they're building up the Undisputed Era. To me, they look like the Hart Foundation in 1997 when they
Undisputed Era.
Bret Hart and the wheelchair. They all have belts on them now. That's what I was saying. You've got the Undisputed
Kingdom. They didn't even build them up. You don't know their name, so there you go.
The Undisputed Era. Kyle O'Reilly not joining them, I think, is swerve. I think we're definitely going to get him joining them at some point.
Kenny Omega?
Kyle O'Reilly?
Same guy. But the way he looks right now, dude, with the short suit, he's wearing Kenny Omega backstage attire.
Like, what are you talking about? But Kyle O'Reilly, I think is definitely going to be a swerve joining them. But I don't know, man.
But we got Wardlow
big
versus
business, man. They want big business to mean something. You put that title on Wardlow.
Hell no.
Mr. Dubbs, let me drive this ship, my boy. We're going off the track there. You got to relax. But we got Wardlow versus. Oh my goodness, there we go.
Wardlow.
Dubbs, you got to relax. We got Wardlow versus Samoa Joe next week, right? Is that next week, or are they saving it for Dynasty? You remember, Bryan?
For what?
Next week.
Oh no, that's
Big
next
business.
week at Big Business.
That's what I'm talking about.
Next week at Big Business, I think there's absolutely no way Wardlow's taking that championship. Neither is he ready to take the championship.
No way. I don't think so.
What do you think?
Want to make an impact?
He was ready. Like when he beat MJF, then that was his last chance, man. And just on and off.
I think they completely dropped the ball on this whole faction, though. That the only way to get him back on track.
We got to keep it. We got to keep this.
I think that's how you get him back, though. How else do you get that faction back on track?
All right, Mr.
No
Valentine.
way. No way you get it back. I mean, it's too late. Like, what? I mean, I like Roderick Strong in that faction, and I kind of like Wardlow too because I like his style, but I can recognize that you just messed him up in storyline way too many times. You had him hot, you got him cold. And Roderick Strong, in the case of him and the entire other faction, you never had him hot. Like, Roderick Strong was doing like Adam stuff and screaming his head off and all the comedy stuff that R-Truth would do. You know what I mean? It's like you put someone at a certain level, it's hard to get him out of that. But yeah, I'll say like Matt Bennett or whoever, the last 2 guys are in the Undisputed. They're never getting out of there.
Mike Bennett.
Yeah, whatever. What? Jobber 1,
can't remember their
Jobber
names
2.
now. Ooh.
Jobber 1, Jobber 2. But Roderick Strong is great in the ring, so maybe he'll, get serious and maybe we'll get some recognition on his name. Adam Cole is, maybe he'll do good. In AEW, he's been pretty mid. When it comes to ring, it scares me. If he gets injured again, I'll be so sad. Let him wrestle a long period of time. But Wardlow next week in Big Business, I mean, it's just sad to see him lose. Like, maybe he's going to get cheated out of it and lose in a dirty way. But he's going to lose. I don't think he's winning that title. It'd be so out of left field. It'd be weird. Especially now you got Samoa Joe looking, kind of strong. You just beat your 2 big contenders. You got to keep that momentum going.
All right, Mr. Dubbs, what do you think? What are Wardlow's chances next week?
I want to see him
We're
win.
gonna time Clint out real quick.
I want to see him win. Ooh, I don't want it that part of my segment. I feel bad now. But I honestly would love to see Wardlow win because I thought they did like Orange Cassidy getting back to the pay-per-view against Roderick Strong. I thought that was an incredible match. Roderick looked so strong. It gave him a big win. They now have their ROH tag belts. It just, like I said, it was reminding me of the Hart Foundation 1997 when Bret Hart was getting wheeled out in the wheelchair. He had he had the world title at the time, though. That's the only thing Adam Cole's missing. Wardlow gets it. You know what I mean? It gets it because I don't know what the timetable is for MJF, and I think that's an issue too. Is that if MJF's going to be coming back sometime in the next couple months, then that might be why they're trying to heat up the whole like the Undisputed Kingdom and whatever they're calling themselves. They might try to heat them up to reignite that story. And what a big way for big business to go off there. You have Mercedes Moné, you have that big debut, but you have a world title change on a weekly TV show. They don't do that often, right? Like, has the world title ever changed hands on a Dynamite? I don't think so. So that would be huge.
That would be huge. You know what? And honestly, I wouldn't be mad at it either. If Wardlow did take it, that means they're taking Wardlow serious. But then we got another transitional champion. Because if Joe loses it right now, he's a transitional champion, and I don't think Wardlow would.
I always thought he was going to be. I always thought he was going to be. I was shocked that he wasn't.
I don't think we can call Samoa Joe a transitional champion anymore.
With like one pay-per-view title defense.
Yeah, I don't think you can make. Think about it. Think about it. If he was a transitional champion, they would have taken the title off him. You had the two guys that were next up in line. You would have put it on him. So how can he be?
I would say he's a protected transitional champion if he loses it anytime soon.
Oh, so anytime soon is what, like next week?
If he loses it before, even if he loses it at Double or Nothing, it seems like they just put it on him to build up a story to get it on the next person.
But
that's what the Attitude Era was built on.
I don't know if you can take it. I don't know if you can say that though, because he held the title for half a year. That's 6 months. He won it and at the end of December 31st. And if you go all the way to the end of May or June, whenever they do this pay-per-view, I think 6 months is a good enough time. I think a transitional champion is 2 to 3 months. And if he lost this week, I would have most definitely agreed with you and been like, hey, he's a transitional champion. But I've been trying to tell you he's not. So
if there's a plan to put the belt on somebody else when he wins the championship, I think that would make him a transitional champion.
But where was that plan though? Where was that plan?
You said where was the plan?
Yeah, because I know that everybody was like, "Oh, Swerve is hot. We got to put it on."
Swerve, it was a plan.
I don't know because I've heard reports as well that Samoa Joe was always slated to win the title at one point.
I heard that too. But yes, that's what I'm saying. Swerve I don't think he was ready to win the championship at that point. I don't think he's ready to win it now. So if the point was to let's put it on Joe and let's build Swerve up for these next few months and then have Swerve take it from him, I think that's a transitional champion. Like MJF was not a transitional champion. MJF is our champion. We're going to run with him. I think
that's the longest reigning champion they ever had. So of course he wasn't transitional.
That's what I'm saying is I'm using him as an example. Like he's the guy who they said, all right, this is our guy right now. There's no plans to take it off of him. Let's run with it. If there's a plan to take the belt off of Joe anytime soon, I would consider it transitional. But that's just me, my opinion. I'm not saying it's right or wrong.
Would you say Kenny Omega was a transitional champion then? Because the plan from day one was to build up that feud with Hangman and put the belt on Hangman. So was Kenny Omega then a transitional champion?
How long did he hold it?
I don't know. He was traveling around the world defending it on shows a night.
He was the longest reigning champion before MJF.
Before MJF.
So then you got to make the argument there that it wasn't transitional because Tony Khan apparently had like a book of guys he wanted to be the champion in order. So, that would make everybody a transitional champion up until that point. So if he has
that's why I'm asking. It's just because it's planned out. It's like, this is how I'm going to tell my story. That's like booking WrestleMania a year out and saying, well, I know this guy's going to lose to X and we're going to build up the story. That to me isn't necessarily a transitional champion. That's just good storytelling, in my opinion. And I don't think Joe losing. I think Joe is past the point. He defended it. But the problem is AEW doesn't have a pay-per-view every month. So to get more than like 3 or 4, to get more than 3 or 4 defenses, it usually takes longer in AEW. Like that's why sometimes they will defend on TV at the big Dynamite shows. Which to me, I don't remember the AEW title ever changing hands on anything but a pay-per-view. So to me, it would make big business feel even more special if they put that title on Wardlow. I think it would be a big thing, big talking point coming out of the show that's not just Mercedes. Because we all know going to be the talking point coming out. This would make that show feel even bigger, in my opinion.
So here's just my rebuttal to that. I feel like they want to make Mercedes Moné the hottest thing coming out of this show. If they didn't want to do that, Okada would have debuted next week. So that's why I don't think that he's gonna win. Because Okada coming out this week kind of shocked me. Like, I know that the report was there, but if you really wanted to like make big business like really really stand out, you would have saved him for next week. But they brought him this week. So I think that the reason why they did that is to really make Mercedes the headline coming out of big business.
That's a good point.
Yeah,
and we'll definitely talk about that here coming up next. But we got a $5 super chat from team member Loaded is a beast. Loaded, you don't have the super chat. We got you. Oh, come on. Oh, he's already gone bad. Hangnail. Adam Page is done, Kenny. Samoa Joe is still the champ, and he'll be added to Fight Forever in season 4 in May. He should be. I mean,
he's been in the company for a long time.
He's been in there long enough. He's their champion, so we'll see. But Hangman Adam Page is not done. I think he has the most potential when it comes to anybody on this roster, including the man who debuted on Dynamite on Wednesday. Okada is in the building. Big business came early, gentlemen. Bryan, are you familiar with Okada's work? And what do you think about him joining AEW over WWE?
Okay, so I'll say it like this. I've watched some matches before. I haven't kept up with his career all throughout New Japan Pro Wrestling, but what they paid that brother, I understand why WWE said, yeah, y'all can have him.
Did we get a number?
It was 4.5 per year for 3 years.
Oh, for 3 years. Whew.
Per year. So you're talking about 13.5 million.
Wait a minute. You saying per year?
Per year. Yes, bro. Per year.
Oh, yeah, that's crazy.
Per year. So at that point, WWE, they did the right thing. And I'm thinking if they paid that to Okada, Mercedes probably got to run the same thing or even a little bit more.
No way.
Bro, I don't know,
maybe
bro.
Maybe.
But I don't know because Tony Khan, bro, I mean, listen, I get overpaying for talent because when you talking about WWE as your competition, but Jesus, bro, like that's a lot of money.
If they want it, they got to go for it.
I agree, but these guys are getting NFL level contracts now. Like these are contracts that you see in NBA, bro. Like this is kind of like ridiculous. Like and hey, I'm not hating on them. I'm all for them making more money.
It should be,
but hey, I mean, it really depends though because NFL and NBA and NBA, the money that they bring in, you can't compare to AEW or WWE, in my opinion. But
you just got a $5 billion deal.
Yeah, but WWE got a $5 billion deal, and they still not paying that type of money out to talent. It's a lot of money.
Tony Khan is forcing them
owner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
I mean, bro, I'm pretty sure his pops
getting that NFL money too.
Yeah, he's getting paid, but I don't know, man. It's a lot of money, so I understand why WWE pulled out. I just want to make that.
So
I just want to make that clear. But now Okada, he's a good talent, man, and I even popped. I was in here with Kenny yesterday. I was happy. I was like, okay, they're gonna do this with him. And when I see him do that turn, I was like, okay, I like this. I like the way AEW was going. That is probably my favorite episode of the year in a very long time. It was a good episode all throughout. It kept me in. It kept me locked in the show. I didn't want to really miss nothing from the show. It was good, and that segment was some good stuff. So I'm looking forward to next week.
I love hearing that. I love hearing the non-super hardcore AEW fans saying that this was the best show of the year because I can't disagree. That was a great Dynamite. That was a fantastic.
What do you think about the new stage, Bryan? Before we move forward,
I told you yesterday, bro. but
trying to put him on the spot here.
But what's it called, bro?
I get him canceled.
It's a big LED. It reminds me of the NXT logo a little bit, and I get it. All the wrestling promotions are going with these LED things, but it looks like they got like condoms coming out the entrances, bro. It's kind of funny, bro. You ever seen a condom wrapper? You see the little circle pop out of it. That looks like the little entrance, bro.
I think my boy just be horny, y'all. I don't know what's going on with these young men.
I mean, do you not remember the WrestleMania stage that what Randy came walking down to the ring on? Bro, they need to put condoms on the entrances now.
It was funny, bro. It was bad, bro. But I like the stage, though. I like the new look, bro. I feel like they're trying to lock themselves into a new era per se of AEW because that's all TK's been talking about. Oh, this is gonna be the 2021 at AEW because I think that was the best year for them. So I hope, man, listen, bro. More competition, the better. That's the way I look at it.
But for Okada, I'm with you, Bryan. I've already seen a few of his matches. Kenny Omega. His matches with Kenny Omega, and he had one with Jericho, right? Or was that Tanahashi?
Yeah,
He
yeah,
had
with
one.
everyone, man.
He had one with. He lost to Eddie Kingston too. And
Who, Tanahashi?
Okada?
No, Okada. Yeah, he's lost.
No way they did that.
I'm
Oh my
pretty sure he
god.
lost to Kingston at
Yeah,
one
that's
point.
crazy.
Yeah, bro. He's 0-3 in AEW. He's never won a match.
Okay.
Okada
So
is?
that's
Okada's
why he
0-3.
attacked Eddie.
It shows his career record.
Well, one of
Okay.
them was a tag match with Orange.
Well, they
Cassidy.
should have wiped that. Like, they should have wiped it.
I
since
agree,
he's just
'cause he
getting a
wasn't
new contract.
signed.
That's crazy.
I would give
Yeah.
him a fresh start, but I don't know. man.
Orange Cassidy was in a tag match with him for one of those losses, and the other loss was to Bryan. I can't believe the third loss was to Kingston. I was trying to think what was the third match.
I can't. Yeah, if you look it up, it was against Kingston. If I'm not mistaken, I'm gonna look it up.
Wow.
Well, it doesn't matter because Sting had like 20 wins and never went for a world championship. So who cares about who won or lost? It's just like whoever Tony Khan wants to put in the match, he'll put in the match. As a matter of fact, I want to talk about for Osprey. I like him, man. I think he has a smart head on his shoulders, and for all that money, obviously he's gonna go there to AEW. Hopefully he gets.
Are you saying Okada or Osprey?
Osprey is not that
Osprey.
smart.
I thought we skipped you for the last conversation. My bad.
Nah, I mean I'll talk about Osprey too because I don't think I got. Did I get the chance to talk about him? No. Look. Okada, I'm hoping now he'll be hot for a couple of weeks. After that, it's guessing game with AEW. We'll see if they can keep him hot. But I mean, they should be able to because he's really talented. Just ride him into good matches. Just give him a basic storyline. He'll do the job. What I'm afraid of is I'm already seeing something I don't like with Osprey. So the Takeshita match was great. But it was like an exhibition match. It was almost as if I open up W2K24, I download them from Community Creations, I play that exhibition match, and there you go. That match happened, then nothing came of it, no storyline. And then we had the same exact match. I skipped this match. Like everything else in the show, I watched and I enjoyed. But the main event, I kind of watched it by skipping because again, it was the same match as Takeshita to me. The same stuff, same 2000 kicks. It's like if we keep doing that, especially with no storyline, what was the story? What was the reason for this match to happen? There was nothing told here.
He's literally wrestling everybody in his faction,
putting his friend over. It was to put his friend over,
and he's putting a spotlight on the whole but what not Bobby Heenan family, the Callis family. Because he still remember the Callis family.
That's what Callis is telling too.
Hold on. Yeah. So he put a spot on Kyle Fletcher Jr., who looks like Will Ospreay. He's the exact same wrestler as Will Ospreay. Like, what value does he bring to the roster?
Crazy to say that.
Yeah, he did say there's a story. Don Callis is pretty much. I mean, it's a story. It's not a good one, but Don Callis is saying nobody else wants to fight them, so now they're going to have matches with each other. So that's pretty much the story they're going with.
Nobody wants to fight with Will Ospreay. You want me to believe that? The newest signee, the biggest guy right now. Yeah, one of the biggest. You know what I mean? Like everybody should be fighting him. What if the stories made sense? That's my problem with AEW
That's
right now.
That's why Bryan Danielson came out at the end. He's excited to fight him. He's the first guy outside of the family willing to fight him.
Okay, now give them a reason, man. Let him say something. Let him cut a promo. Bryan's a good promo when he wants to be. Just like give him a proper reason. I don't want that match to be an exhibition match. I was happy when Bryan came out, but I look at Bryan's track record again, and it's just like he just pops up, wrestles. Sometimes get injured, sometimes whatever. Just doing like dream matches again instead of continuous storylines where I love this stuff when he turned heel and he was like tapping everybody out. He was doing this while the referee was trying to get him off of the people. I want that Bryan Danielson with like a consistent story building up to something, and not just for Bryan Danielson but for everybody. And I think that's something lacking in AEW, and that has me worried for both Okada, Osprey, and Sasha or Mercedes Moné when she comes in. Like hopefully this new era starts to bring that. And last thing I'll say is that this show was positive for me. Like it wasn't a 10 out of 10, but I like the direction that they were heading. And if they continue to head to that direction, I will find myself watching AEW a bit more than I am used to. So, overall, I'm actually positive. I just want those big things to be nailed properly.
Right. But with Okada, I'm sure you're probably more familiar than him. Well, maybe Mr.Dubbs, I'm not sure. But how's his English?
Oh, man. I'd say better than like Shinsuke and stuff, but he's not like a fluent speaker at all. So let's say a couple of times.
Better than Andrade or worse?
It's probably gonna be better than Andrade. Honestly,
can he get away with a promo?
He can say like a sentence or two, and we will understand him. I think.
That's
okay, but then he's got the Young Bucks there who aren't great promos. So I don't know if they're the right guys to kind of be in front of him. But
I mean, I'm a fan of what the Bucks been doing though.
Yeah, I was a big fan.
I don't believe him. I cannot believe. I can't buy in to what
You
they're
don't
doing.
want to just punch them in the face when you hear them talk like that. To me, they have a very punchable face.
What about
They
Nick?
have that energy. To me, they have that energy where it's just like I just want to see them get.
I want to ask specifically, Kenny, what about Nick? Like, Matt seems like he's just acting to me all the time. Nick, I kind of like him.
And Matthew,
Nick
you refer to them as the God-given names.
Nick is definitely better than Matt, but I just really don't. Matt, he's cancel Christmas. But Nick's a great wrestler in ring. It's just their promo stuff. They come off as too goofy to me.
I see.
Like, especially the beginning.
I love him. I love them as these smarmy heels that you want to just beat the crap out of.
They do the cartoon stuff like.
I love it.
Guys, come on.
I don't know. I'm all for it.
How are you feeling about Okada as a whole?
This is the best the Bucks have come off all AEW since their inception for me. Their matches, they are always great in ring, but as far as their character work, to me, this is the most I've ever wanted to see someone just beat the crap out of them. So they're doing their job well. They're fantastic heels to me.
How do you feel about Okada coming in and all of that? What he will bring to AEW? Did he make the right decision?
I mean, the Okada's the rainmaker, and they made it rain for him. I mean, it's pretty straightforward. It's in his entrance. Just drop that money. I think for sure it's the right move. I like to see wrestlers getting contracts like this. We haven't seen them since the days of WCW paying out $5 million a year to a Bret Hart or something just to not use them, just so WWE, you know what I mean? Like, I think it's about time wrestlers earn this kind of money. And if Tony Khan's willing to pay it, man, it's only a matter of time. You can say whatever you want, but you could get a part-time John Cena, Roman Reigns. Yeah, we can say they're lifers to WWE all we want, but if the money talks, man, if he's willing to throw that kind of money, I don't know what he threw at Sting, but I think he's still going to throw more money at him just to be part of the company. And Sting said in his promos like that he doesn't want to be like an agent. He doesn't want to be on commentary. He doesn't want to be a manager. But Tony Khan's like, I don't care. Like, we'll figure something out if you want to stick around. So, I mean, I think it's fantastic. I think Okada definitely made the right move. For him personally, I'm sure. We'll have to wait and see what they're able to do in storyline. It's all going to come down to how they book things moving forward and if they can continue to make them feel special. Because you made a point that you said Hangman has the most potential. You used the word potential. The guy's a former AEW champion, and we're still talking about his potential because he hasn't reached it yet. Okada's a star. Osprey's a star. Orton. They need to put them across as stars. What, you're saying Randy Orton's got potential? He's not a star.
No, I said when he was a young guy and he won his first championship, he still hadn't. Okay,
I see what you're saying. But they've always posted Hangman as like the top, if like your top stars in AEW and your top level talent. He's always been there, right? And the reason I brought up Pac too was because they have an embarrassment of riches. Regardless of all these injured wrestlers, they still have enough wrestlers to put on a 5-star match between top to bottom of any pay-per-view. The fact that we're just hearing about Pac, and I thought his vignette was amazing, by the way. His promos were fantastic, but I would love to see Okada against Pac. I think they would tear the house down together. Are you kidding me? But again, do you want to bring Pac back just to lose right away? Maybe not. But I'm excited to see a lot of the potential dream matches. I just really hope that moving forward with the new hires they've made backstage as well as in front of the stage, that we're getting more storylines. The last couple of weeks, this week especially, I've really loved the storytelling that they're starting to do, the promos actually giving us a reason to watch a match. Like the whole having Wardlow next week, they at least had a promo to cut to it beforehand. It wasn't just a graphic. It wasn't just like a graphic randomly before they went off the air saying Wardlow's cashing in next week. At least he was out there standing and they had him. You know, the weird thing my girlfriend even asked was like, did he just take a bra off?
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, no, he was like wearing a tank top because I missed it. And then I saw when you guys had the freeze frame, I was like, oh, that's what my girlfriend was talking about. That's crazy. What was going on there? Yeah, but I mean, I would love to see a big win from Wardlow and have them do some good storytelling beyond it. Regardless, if Joe keeps it, Joe's been great as champion. I just want to see more storytelling as always. And Okada being a good signing in AEW, we're going to have to look at that in 6 months from now, in a year from now, and see if he's just another guy. Because right now, Adam Copeland doesn't feel special in AEW. Does he feel special to you? And he was their last big signing before Osprey and Okada, right? He doesn't feel special to me right now.
Special forever. I mean, I just think it is what it is. But
okay.
Go ahead, kiddo.
What about Cody then? Why does he feel special after 2 years?
Because they boosted him to the world championship picture. You don't want Adam Copeland to the world championship picture in AEW. No. So you're saying you think Adam Copeland should be the AEW champion?
Nah, I just think he fell flat.
No, Cody
I
is
think
young
so,
and in
too.
his prime. So yes, WWE push him to the moon. Adam Copeland, no.
No, I get what you're saying, Kenny, but I feel like he fell flat.
I mean, they put him in there against Christian Cage. So I mean, do you like that or do you not? It's
Christian's been doing the best work of his career. I mean, the last month he's definitely cooled off from where he was. Like he's
To be
100%
fair,
cooled down. From
Adam
where he
Copeland was cold in WWE too.
Okay.
Was the Judgment Day stuff hot? Like
I thought it was at one point. But
I didn't
it's
follow
not.
it then. When he was there,
it
I
was
was
mid
following.
card.
So.
It was
Oh,
mid card.
I liked it, but yes, no, he wasn't hot in WWE. That's not what. But my thing is when you have a superstar of his caliber go to the company, that's our point. Like we get that clearly. That's why he left. They had no plans for him in WWE. So it's like I feel like he just fell flat in AEW, in my opinion.
But he's
And I'm hoping that doesn't happen to Okada.
He's doing what he wants to do. So who's to blame for that?
I mean,
Tony Khan maybe shouldn't let him do what he wants to do. Maybe he should put him in a better position. But I'm glad
Tony
they
Khan
didn't
would
throw
never
him
do
in
that.
there and put him in the championship title picture because that's what.
No, I didn't want that. I thought he had a great match with Christian Cage at World's End. Like it was a good match. He was doing stuff. I'm still mad about the botched table that they tried to put him through the table, Brian. But yeah, he's done some good work. I just feel like he just instantly cooled down after that match. Like there was no follow up there. Like I don't know, it was just tough. I don't know. Like I'm gonna be honest, when Adam Copeland comes on my screen right now, I just don't care. I'll be honest,
and that's a problem.
Not
that
it's
to me
Adam
is a
Copeland.
problem.
They got to
a
build
problem.
him up.
That's a big. They would have spent a lot of money on him, and that's a problem, I think. And for me, when you say you don't want to see him in the world title picture, I think as with Joe as champion, there's not even the slightest interest in seeing Adam Copeland against him. But if you were to make Swerve champion, or if Swerve was the champion, I would love Adam to be in a good, very good blood feud with Swerve and put Swerve over.
Yeah,
I think that would be great.
Yeah. Perfect way
to
to
me, that's good.
Yeah.
But not against Joe. Not against Joe. Because that to me is just they don't. No, I've seen it.
Because at that point, Dubs do got a point. Like you can still put this guy in the title picture and just not have him win. He's still you're still gonna care about what he's doing. Just like I slightly care right now a little bit about Wardlow's doing because now they've elevated him again to this title picture. Now it depends what they're gonna do now. Is he gonna lose clean? Is he gonna lose dirty? We don't know what's gonna happen, but there's potential.
Fingers crossed he wins, boys.
There's potential. There's potential for it to fall flat again for Wardlow. That's the problem.
But do you want to see Edge fall to Samoa Joe? I mean,
no, I don't want to see that.
He's another guy past his prime.
I don't want to see Samoa Joe
in a title match with MJF would have been good, but not Samoa Joe. I say hold him off until one of the young guys get the title, and then you put him on that scene.
100. You could stole the words right out of my mouth. Young talent. Put him in there with young talent if they're the champion. 100%.
What's that smile for, Kero?
I'm sorry, I'm just thinking of dirty jokes again.
Okay. All right. Well, before we get too far off of the topic, Tony Khan throwing around this money is crazy because if he gave Okada $4 million a year, when Seth Rollins apparently still hasn't put ink to paper. So what is he going to offer Seth Rollins? I think Seth Rollins stealing him away from WWE is a bigger get than Okada. So what happens there?
Must agree.
Do you think they would throw that crazy money at him? Because I don't think WWE is going to spend him $5 million. I think Tony Khan will bite the bullet and pay him $5 million a year.
He might not. Seth Rollins might be the highest paid AEW wrestler if he goes to AEW. You do.
Now, that's the guy you can put in there and put that championship on because he's still in his prime.
Yeah, I just think he needs a new gimmick. That's my 2 cents. This gimmick ain't doing it for me.
Tyler Black.
I think AEW can do anything worse than what he got right now. Go ahead, Dubs.
Tyler Black, baby. He's coming back.
Yeah, Tyler Black.
Yeah.
Bring that belt around.
Tyler Black with the blackout.
I'll be honest. I think Seth is going to be taken care of, but I don't think he's going to go to AEW. But if he does, I wouldn't put it past him. With that type of money that Tony Khan is bringing out, hey, man. But then again, Seth Rollins might consider because he's seen all the careers that have died in AEW. So he might be like, nah, I ain't trying to do all
bro,
that.
Listen. If you're going to give me $5 million a year, let my career die for those 3 to 5 years, however long you're going to pay me, I'll go back to WWE after. Now I got the money. And I can live it up.
Look how much bigger of a star Cody Rhodes was when he came back to WWE. If you come back to WWE from a run in AEW, they love you. They're like, come on in, high fives all around. Let's give you more money. Let's give you some airtime. CM Punk was given the royal red carpet, and he was public enemy number 1 for 10 years. So I'm just saying, anyone coming off smelling like AEW, you're like, oh, let's just praise to you. Come on over here, enjoy the catering.
Yeah, and I don't think Seth Rollins going to let himself get buried in AEW. He can't. He is not a star like Edge is cooled down, but Seth Rollins, he's like prime talent. You can't. There's no way they can drop the ball on him.
I don't know. He slowed down a whole lot, man. You look at 2015
WWE.
Seth Rollins. That was prime Seth Rollins. I mean, he doesn't even have the body anymore. He's still very good.
Better than it ever was.
Really? Go look back at 2015 and tell me that again.
He was smaller back then. I think he has his man body now.
Nope. He was way bigger.
He was bigger? What year? Let's see.
I don't know, man.
When he won the WWE Championship.
I think he's got better character work now, which I think is more important. And I think AEW needs people who have more character work than just 5-star matches.
We've literally been crapping on his character for a year now, dude. What are you talking about?
Yeah, so hopefully they can give him a better one in AEW.
He was skinny in 2018.
Change of scenery is always a good thing, right? Like, I mean, it doesn't matter if it works. I mean, it's I still say, regardless of how Miro's been booked in AEW, nothing's worse than being cucked watching your wife make out with other men on the television screen every week.
What about Andrade's storyline?
They just did him like that. I think he's pitching it at this point, bro.
Yeah.
Oh God, I just why Miro? Maybe that is a thing for him. I don't know. That's none of my business. But I just think that a fresh scenery has always been a thing in wrestling. We've had such a long break before there's been a company that can give you comparable money to WWE. So it always used to be WWE or bust. You could maybe make a name for yourself in New Japan and TNA, but you wouldn't be making any money doing it. And now they can make money while doing that, and then they can always come back. All right, I think Seth Rollins would be way bigger than Drew McIntyre, though.
So he was more lean and cut. He was more lean and cut back then. Now, so he's not as ripped as he was before. But
I mean, time will do that to you, so I don't blame him too hard. But
Randy Orton is an anomaly.
That man has
Randy Orton is in.
Randy's got to be on the juice, man. I don't care what nobody says. Of
course he is. Of course he is.
Yeah, Randy's on the juice, in my opinion.
Getting that TKO benefit.
Of Seth Rollins and ruining his career. On Monday, there was a promo cut. Before we get to Raw, anybody got anything else about AEW? Because we're going a bit long here already.
One thing I wanted to point out is none of us talked about the biggest part of the week, which is Sting's retirement, his match, the match with Darby Allin climbing Mount Everest. We've skipped over all of that. I thought we were saving that for the end. I don't know if that was intentional or not.
Well, let's save it for the end. Because we don't got we here for a good time, not a long time. But WWE, Seth Rollins came out with Cody Rhodes and he cut a promo on Raw. Now, we just spoke about the promo that happened on SmackDown with The Rock, Roman Reigns. Now there was this promo on Raw with Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins. Kero, I'm going to let you take the reins here since you completed Monday Night Raw. You should get an achievement for that. What did you think about this promo?
So this promo was, let me see. It was tough to watch. Because I heard the news about it being so quote unquote cringe and bad. When I ended up watching it, I kind of had to skip it because I had that feeling going in. It was like kind of hard for me to watch, but it wasn't that bad. Like now, obviously, when compared to The Rock, this is quite the predicament for them because Rock just came in there and cleaned them up last Friday. Like The Rock, the promo he cut was awesome. This felt like a WWE, a machine promo, a ChatGPT promo. It didn't feel real, didn't feel genuine, and it certainly didn't want to make me get behind the baby faces, which is the number one objective of wrestling. You know, get behind baby faces, see the butts of heels get kicked. That's like what you want to do. Now I want to see The Rock win, man. I want to see Roman Reigns win because this was horrible. This felt like Seth Rollins coming out there with kindergarten insults, you know, like he's 6 years old. Like, what are you doing? And plus, that was like number one big problem. I'm sure all of you noticed. Number two was they really did say nothing, right? Oh, we have the tag team match. Okay, we'll talk about it next week. That was basically the promo. We didn't get any new info like we did with The Rock. Now, whose fault is this? We can go ahead and talk about that a lot. But the fact remains is that The Rock is free to say whatever the hell you want to say. He can swear. He can basically cut an attitude there a promo without saying, you know, like the S word, the F word, like going too hard on that. But other than that, he's home free. I guess Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins still have the leash and they have to follow an exact worded promo, but that's hurting them right now. Like that was bad. Hopefully tomorrow they'll be able to fix this. It's not unfixable. This was just 1 week, but this was a blemish as well, man. This was a blemish as well. I feel like honestly what they're doing with Cody right now is a little weak, and Rock has to come out with like great segments and kind of get this thing together again and get it back to a big level. And that's not what's supposed to be happening, man. I want to get excited about this match, but I see one side of the occasion with the bloodline being amazing right now. The other side, they're just there, especially Seth Rollins with everything that's been going on to him. Again, this does damage his character. This was not a suffering succotash level bad promo, but it could have been there, man. It was relatively close. So I don't know what they were smoking when they wrote this one. And
Brian Gewirtz and The Rock sitting back like, how can we make these guys look terrible?
Exactly. So my last thing about this is going to be, I hear some people say, I mean, let The Rock do his thing. You know what I mean? There's no way Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes are going to be able to come back to it, which is something that I don't care to hear because, man, find a way. Like, get 200 writers with the best minds and let them insult The Rock as well. Because Cody Crybaby is such a great insult. You know what I mean? Give the Cody fans something equal or even something better, and there you go. You got more drama, you got more craziness, you got more chaos, more heated conversations right now. Like I'm wondering about Bryan's perspective, but like if someone came at you with a Cody Crybaby, would you ever be able to call him Dwayne? What, Diarrhea Dwayne?
Diarrhea Dwayne.
Well, you're cooked. Your side is cooking you. Like, that's not good. But yeah, the situation is like that. Sirs.
Yeah. I couldn't say it any better than that. I mean, Cody Rhodes looks bad right now. Even being in that ring with Seth Rollins, he looks bad right now. Diarrhea Dwayne, he should be embarrassed. It's close to being bad as suffering succotash. Because
to me, it's just as bad. To me, it was awful.
Chanting it like, don't boost this on. But I do want to see Loaded. Y'all, Loaded is a beast in the chat. He can't be with us on Thursdays because he works. So I want to make sure I at least get his chats in here. He says Seth doesn't really have it anymore, man. 2015 was his peak. I think he still has it. He's just not. They're not putting him in good spots.
Right.
Killing his gimmick. So I think if he goes elsewhere for a while, he can get it all together. But in WWE, it's just not going to happen. Brian, what do you think about this promo we got on Monday?
I think it was bad, but a lot of people are giving Seth Rollins crap for this promo, but applauded Dwayne when he was talking about chicken nuggets up your word. You know what I'm saying? So it's just, I don't know, man. I think both was bad at the time because I like that was bad.
That was hilarious.
That was bad. Talking about some that ain't it, bro. So I don't know, man. To me, I think they're building up Cody to take the pin on night 1, and then night 2 we're gonna get some crazy stuff to happen, but there's just no way that Cody does not take that pin on night 1, bro. It just I feel it coming. So. Those are just my 2 cents with this promo and everything that's been building up to it. I think you have Cody take the pin night 1 and have him do his thing night 2 if they are going to book him to win, but he's going to lose night 1.
What do you think of your favorite bald man?
Who's my favorite?
What do you think of The Rock?
Bald,
you always like
yeah. The Rock, he's doing some good work right now, bro. I like the whole L thing he's doing. I just think that The Rock should pin Cody night 1. I think that's the only way you do it. You don't have Seth lose twice because he's gonna lose to Drew. So that's just my 2 cents. I think they're just having Cody look weak. I think he's gonna lose. So I don't know. That's what I'm getting from all of this. So we'll see what happens with it. But The Rock nonetheless doing great work. I enjoyed the promo. So I don't know. We'll see. Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes definitely did lose the promo battle from Friday to Monday, though. That was god awful. So those are just my 2
What'd you think about it, Dubbs?
I mean, people were making it seem like it was the worst promo of all time. I went into it expecting that, and it wasn't as bad. The lines were terrible, but I mean, it was clearly just a scripted promo. Very case in point. We are scripting your promos. They're literally scripting Drew McIntyre's promos, as he did later in the night, where he says, "Don't be so selfish" and everything. And he literally cut like the CM Punk promo on the Young Bucks on Seth Rollins, like for agreeing to do this matchup and everything. that they're a victim of whatever the script says for them. And Diarrhea Dwayne was terrible. To me, it was on that same level as Suffer and Succotash. But look at Roman now. I don't think this buries Seth Rollins in any way. I just think it made them look stupid for a week. But look at this whole storyline. Like, look what Cody looked like up until The Rock in his 20-minute, Diarrhea Dwayne on Instagram had to literally make up for that whole, oh, well, I'm not going to face you at WrestleMania. Well, why did you change your mind? Why was none of this addressed? It's been addressed. They've dealt with it. It's fine. Keep it moving. Spill some Henny. Keep it moving. You know what I mean? Like, I think it'll be fine. I think Rollins will be fine. I think they'll all be fine coming out of this. It was just a bad segment. It wasn't a great Raw, but I loved what Drew did. I loved Drew on this Raw, and no one's really talking about that. I thought he was great.
Drew's doing
Drew to me is one of the greatest characters on Raw every week now, like for sure. And always keeping CM Punk fresh in your mind, always cutting something on CM Punk. They are building that match. Going to be a huge
That's
return.
why I think he signed, bro. A lot of people don't think so, but there's no way you keep building that up if he didn't sign.
No, not
why
a chance.
not?
Agreed.
Bro,
His contract ends after SummerSlam, right?
No, I heard it was after Mania. The dates keep changing.
Oh, I don't know.
I just don't
Injury
know
time.
I just don't think I just don't think you build that match up, bro, without putting some pen on paper. You giving him the hottest rivalry when Punk comes
Yeah, I heard
back.
it was after SummerSlam. That's why I thought they were doing it. And if he's on his way out, what better way than to make him lay down for CM Punk at SummerSlam?
But then again, you're making him look strong all these months for him to go to another company. They usually don't do that.
Well, they'll bury you at the end. They didn't do Dean Ambrose too bad though.
They tried. Remember, they had him lose. They had him losing to Nia Jax. Don't say they didn't. They were having him lose to Nia Jax.
They did him pretty bad. But maybe now, since Vince is gone, maybe they're a little less petty with Triple H, man. He would do it. So.
Blood in them veins. I know it.
Yeah.
Yeah. To me, again, Drew McIntyre. I've never seen any of this out of him his whole career. It's not like I watched every match he's ever done and promos in TNA, but this is the best Drew McIntyre I've ever seen. And I love that he keeps referencing the CM Punk AEW promos or the Hangman promos. I'm enjoying it more and more every week because it just shows me it's like, hey, you're an AEW fan. You're welcome here. Look at all the AEW talent you get to watch. They're all in the top storylines. Like, even when they're injured, CM Punk is still in one of the top storylines. I love that.
Not AEW talent.
10 years away from WWE's never had a match in WWE outside of the Rumble and 2 dark matches, and had some of his greatest feuds arguably in the history of his career. And those dog collar matches with MJF, I consider more of an AEW talent or a UFC talent.
He's a WWE guy through and through. But what do y'all think about this Seth Rollins stuff? Could he be in The Rock's pocket? Because during his promo, he was like talking about the bloodline, and he threw up the 1 and then threw up the L like The Rock did, and then put the 1 back up. What was up with that?
Referencing The Rock. That was referencing The Rock.
Like throwing up that L, so Cody knows something. Does Roman know? Is Roman like an idiot? Seth Rollins.
I think it's just hinting to the fans to let us know that The Rock's going to be turning on Roman. I think the whole build is that The Rock's going to turn on night 2 on Roman. I think that's to set up what Roman against Rock for next WrestleMania. I'm guessing.
Yeah. So what happened to the swerves in wrestling? Like, surprised us because The Rock's pretty much telling us with an L, and then he said you're going to lose, pointing at Roman. I would hope it's all not leading down the path to what we see.
I'll be honest, bro. The fact that I see Seth Rollins do that, it almost leads me to think Seth Rollins is going to join The Rock in whatever they're about to do. Either they're going to turn on Cody together, or whatever's going to be the case. But I don't know. The L is definitely something to look at, though. They're definitely acknowledging it.
Yeah.
Or the guns are coming to sign with WWE, you guys, and they're gonna join a monster faction with The Rock and Seth Rollins. Guns up.
Imagine the end game at WrestleMania. If you got Cody laying down in the ring, bloody, and then you got Roman Reigns holding his title up, Seth Rollins next to him holding his title up. The Shield wins, baby. The Shield still runs WWE.
That would be bad booking, bro. I've already said this before. That would be bad booking, bro.
Bring it full circle.
Because my thing is, bro, Seth been talking about like beating Roman. Like, how you just gonna come back and I don't know, bro. It's almost like what happened with the when Jey Uso was about to win the title, then Jimmy came in and interrupted the match. Like, it's almost like that would be extending the feud past what it's supposed to be. Like, it's just a lot of extensions, and that's what makes it bad to me.
I felt the feud going past last year's WrestleMania was extending that feud, but look where we are today.
But then again, though,
Look where we are today.
the Civil War was fire. I like the Civil War, me personally. It's just
Sure, I thought it was a great story too.
It's just like when it's just the Jey Uso and Jimmy Uso thing. Like when Jimmy Uso comes out and then joins the bloodline again, like that to me was extending the rivalry, and it left a bad taste in my mouth. So I hope they don't do it again after all these years of Seth just crapping on Roman, and then Roman burying him on TV, and then Seth is gonna help him after you get buried multiple times.
It could all be a part of the plan. It could all be a part of the plan.
I mean, listen, bro, I'm all for a swerve, but I don't know if that's the one.
The Rock is taking over as the cerebral assassin.
Then you got to think about it too.
Game.
When the Rock explained it in that 21-minute promo, he straight up said, like, listen, you're not thinking about Roman Reigns' story. The second he created the bloodline, that was to lead up to me versus Roman Reigns. So you think about Cody Rhodes just because he says finish the story. There's a story they've been telling for years for The Rock to lead up to this match with Roman Reigns.
I wouldn't say telling.
I said that weeks ago. I said that weeks ago.
Wouldn't say telling.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not telling. I think it's teasing. Because there's really nothing that has truly really like stood out like before now at this point in time.
Mansplaining.
The Rock holding up Roman Reigns when he won the belt and then listening to all the fans booing.
The bloodline wasn't even a thought at that
point. This is a decade-long story. This is the greatest story in wrestling.
No,
this is the greatest story in wrestling.
No, it's
like
not.
Kero said, The Rock is an attitude era guy. Does he bow down to the crowd and just give them this Cody Rhodes match and let it be that? If the plan is for Rock to go against Roman, then you don't want Roman to take this loss at WrestleMania.
No.
So it could end with The Rock helping Roman win, and then The Rock bottoming Roman Reigns. Now Roman's headed to WrestleMania next year as the champion, passing Roman's record, and then Hogan's record, and then you got Roman and The Rock at Mania. I would say do not be surprised if The Rock stands on what he wants, and then he faces Roman next year.
I have been telling you, Roman is gonna win, man. I still feel it. That record is gonna be broken after
Beat that Hogan record. Beat that Hogan record, baby.
This record talk is so stupid. I'm gonna be honest, bro. Like, who cares about a record that's number 3? Who cares? What does that do? Nothing.
The Rock cares. The Rock cares.
Who cares? That record does nothing, bro. It's like, bro,
it does something.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't make him number 1. It makes him number 3. It's okay. All right, you were first to laugh.
The first two were WWF. Not WWF. Just pointing that out.
Thing, bro. I don't care. Don't make no difference to me.
That would actually make him number 1.
That record talk is dumb, and it's not going to be.
That would make him number 1.
It's never going to be acknowledged as number 1.
They are going to treat him like number 1. They're going to treat him like number 1. There you go.
If Hogan's the longest in WWF history, WWE, then Roman's number 1 when he passes them.
Yeah.
They don't count Ric Flair's titles before it was WWF.
Exactly.
And guess what? 10 years later, all the children will forget about Bruno and all that. And Roman is going to be number 1.
We all said, bro. Bruno won the titles back in the 1970s or 80s, bro. And
it was a different company. Yeah.
I have never seen a Bruno Sammartino match. He's aging out, bro. Roman Reigns is going to be their number 1 champion, and that's how they're going to sell it.
Who was Vince McMahon's first project? Hogan. Hogan is a Vince McMahon thing. They want to erase Vince from history. They got to take out Hogan's reign, man. They got to do it.
Y'all thinking too much into it now.
I don't think you're thinking enough.
We'll see.
It.
I think it's I've thought about it, but the record don't mean nothing. It's not number 1.
Look at to you. It doesn't matter to you.
A big deal.
WWE's all about numbers all the time. They always have been.
Listen, you let the Usos have the number 1 tag team reign of all time for what? To not let Roman have the number 1 championship reign?
Bro, the number 1 championship. That's not a number 1 championship reign. It's not a number 1 championship reign if they still
just like when they said John Cena's tied the most world title reigns of all time. But when did he tie? Because he didn't really. It's what they recognize as Ric Flair's reigns.
If you still so what you gonna do? All of a sudden you've been mentioning Bruno for the past 25 years, and all of a sudden when Roman goes and beats Hogan's record is all right. Bruno is no longer there, and the record.
They talked about Vince McMahon for the last 30 years. You're never going to hear about Vince McMahon anymore.
If that was the plan a year or 2 ago that they wanted to go in and full throttle with this guy, then you should have been taking that out and made Hogan the number 1 guy, and then it would make more sense. But you've been talking about this guy being number 3.
Acknowledge me.
That's
Come on, bro.
Sorry.
It's written.
Sorry if you guys would have called it out as well, but right now since this fits the narrative, this is what you guys are going with. That is dumb.
No, I've been calling it out ever since last year.
You don't just make a record. You don't just talk about it. Oh, Hogan is number 3. and then all of a sudden Roman Reigns is number 3, and now he's number 1. That's
we
just
never
dumb.
called it out before because we never got this close to that point. Now I can see what they're doing, and I'm like, okay, this is where we are. And you think about WWE recognizes a certain amount of Ric Flair's title runs. Now he's in AEW, they're recognizing more. So that's just what WWE does. They recognize what they want to. So if Hogan's their number 1 champion and they want to wash that away.
You're comparing titles. You're comparing titles from different. Hold on, you're comparing titles from different promotions to titles, and like WWE has never acknowledged different titles. So this you acknowledging a record that was in the WWE.
Ric Flair doesn't have 16 WWF title runs. He has one. Bro, not one. He's called a 16-time world champion. Don't tell me they don't acknowledge other championships. That is BS right there. 100%. My point I wanted to get to. CM,
they let him stick with the gimmick.
Five-time WCW. Exactly. And then he became the 6th time when he won the world title in WWE. But what we have to think about is CM Punk, when he had his run, they kept referring to it as the longest title run in the modern era. And then as soon as he was out of the company, the second he left on bad terms, they had Brock beat that record immediately so that they could call Brock the longest reigning champion of the modern era, even though he defended the title 6 times. Yeah. Right? Like, it didn't matter. It's all about those numbers. And the fact that they don't have to say modern era about Roman Reigns with that, right? They haven't. Exactly. If there's a reason, there's always a reason.
Man, I love to listen to the reason.
They're holding that to have him. They don't want you to think about it because once he passes that record, they're going to say Roman is the longest reigning champion of all time.
Yeah, bro. You can't just go and say Bruno Sammartino and go to just Roman Reigns. It just don't work.
They only started acknowledging Bruno Sammartino again, like in the last 20 years. They didn't acknowledge Bruno for about 20 years, period.
Bro,
because Vince didn't like the way they literally stopped acknowledging Bruno, period. For like 20 years, from like 80s to pretty much all of Attitude Era. They only started acknowledging Bruno again in probably the mid-2000s. So don't tell me they can't stop acknowledging somebody.
Because
it's
so
easy.
You've been acknowledging it. You just gonna. I mean, it makes sense to y'all, I guess, bro. So whatever makes sense in y'all brains.
We've watched it for we've watched it for 20 years plus.
Okay, that's fine.
Over 20 years.
Same nonsense.
That's fine.
And this is the song and dance they do. But let's go ahead, because we know Cody ain't finishing the story this year. Let's go ahead and talk about Sting's retirement match. I was surprised on Raw they actually mentioned it. Michael Cole said a legend retired last night. Pat McAfee followed up with it was a great match. Like, whoa, that was crazy. Shouts out to Triple H for either phoning that in or allowing it. But what did y'all think about Sting's final match? Was it worthy of a retirement match? Let's start with you, Mr. Dubbs.
I honestly think this was the greatest treatment of a legend of Sting's caliber I've ever seen in modern wrestling. When we used to see, and this was referenced by a lot of the talent in the past, like Paul White, I think it was a big reason why he left WWE, was because they would have Legends nights and they would humiliate the legends. And they didn't treat them like Vince never did. Moving forward with Triple H, I'm sure Legends will get far more respect in the company than they ever did before. But up until this point, no legend has ever had a proper send-off outside of like Ric Flair against Shawn Michaels. And then Ric Flair ruined it by coming out of retirement 6 more times, right? But he had, Ric Flair had that perfect moment at WrestleMania. This to me is the best retirement they've done since then. Like, to me, it's just the way they botched Kurt Angle's retirement and had that on a silver platter, him against John Cena at Mania. And they threw that away because, I don't know, is it Vince Petty or who? I don't know whose call that was. I'm assuming it was Vince, but Sting was treated so well in AEW. I didn't agree with him being undefeated maybe in the first little while because I was like, what are they doing? I also didn't think they were going to keep him and Darby together as a unit his entire run. And it made it so much more special. To me, we were talking about months ago, is Adam Copeland going to retire Sting in a 1v1 match? Do we want to see that? Are they going to do a tag match? Are they going to split him and Darby and have a singles match? I think them going out on top, having those tag titles, even though he didn't want them, Tony Khan said, you're winning. Sting also said in the post-fight press conference he didn't want to win the match. Tony said, you're winning it. Tony is very proud of the way he booked it. I thought it was fantastic. I liked the video package they were able to do for Sting with limited footage, not having any WCW footage, just being able to I still think everything worked out great. The legends were there. I mean, the Ric Flair spot was it reminded me of Eddie Kingston covering John Moxley from the Big Explosion when he's like, no, don't hit him, Young Bucks, don't get him. And then they super kicked Ric Flair. I thought they utilized the legends in the match that were also just like with all the gimmicks were great. But who didn't love that entrance? When I first saw Sting's son, the first one in the Great American Bash attire, I was like, did Sting really dye his hair and he's going old school for this? And they had me with that long camera shot. I thought it was so great incorporating his kids. His son with the Wolfpack Sting, I thought did an amazing Stinger splash and looked really great. If these guys don't have any wrestling training, I thought they did really well. I don't know if they've been training underneath, but I don't think they are because I think they're already in their 30s, right? So I don't think have any real wrestling training. They're just athletic, which super impressive to me. I love the way he was handled. I'm not going to say anything about them going off the pay-per-view, cutting off his speech, because we went in our watch long. We went over that ad nauseum. I thought they handled this really well, and I thought they handled his entire run in AEW really, really well. They always made him feel special. And Darby Allin nearly trying to kill himself in the match, going through that pane of glass.
Mm-hmm.
I'll remember that spot in AEW. That, to me, is going to be that Jeff Hardy spot from WrestleMania. Doing that. I know they do these big ladder spots often, but that specific with the pane of glass and everything, to me, that I'll remember that 20 years from now, I think. Just the same way I remember Jeff Hardy going off the ladder, doing the swanton through the table to Bubba Ray or to the Dudleys in that WrestleMania match. That was a spot to remember forever. And this is the caliber of match you do it in. You don't be Sammy Guevara doing it to Will Hobbs in a random rampage or collision.
Sammy Guevara.
Like he did the similar spot through the table. He did a very similar spot a week before that. This, to me, this is the stage you do it on. You do it in Sting's retirement. That's the stage you do it. But I absolutely loved it. I thought you couldn't have given him a better send-off. And as a Sting fan growing up, the only thing I'm sad about, and I know every Sting fan in the world is that we never got that Undertaker match. That's the only part of his career I'm upset about. This, to me, was such a great send-off after everything that happened in WWE. I'm so happy he got this run. So happy.
Yes. And I got to shout out Joseph Montoya in the chat who says Taker versus Styles was a great retirement match. I agree. For what they had available to use at that time, I think they did a good job. But Mr. Dubbs, Kero, Valentine, what did you think about Sting's retirement match?
I enjoyed it for what it was. I mean, it was an enjoyable match. Sure, you know what I mean. The big controversy for me and Bryan was the fact that they cut off his retirement speech. It's one and only ever retirement speech, right? Presumably. That was a bit rough. The match itself had a lot of spots. Darby did a crazy spot. I'm not sure if he needed to do that, but hey, it's Sting's last match. A lot of stuff that I wouldn't excuse was like, you know what, whatever, go all out. It's still his last match. Let him do whatever he wants to do. But yeah, I enjoyed the match itself. It's just that, the blip at the end, I wish they give him somehow, some way, a bit more time to say what he wanted to say one last time on pay-per-view while everybody was watching. Other than that, his run, when I reflect back on it, is okay, I guess. It's just like, I wish he, besides Darby, had like a nemesis. And instead of a tag team match, he just had a normal one-on-one match where he didn't jump off of a scaffolding or like go through 10 tables because he didn't need to. He didn't need to do so in this match either. Just that's my regrets about Sting and AEW, man. But other than that, out of any other legend in AEW, I'm just running through my mind real quick. Yeah, he was treated the best. He actually consistently did stuff that mattered, at least, or that was worthy of talking about. And so I thought he had a decent run. Again, 20-0. Like, I would love to see him at least in a, one AEW World Heavyweight Championship match. It's like, make it crazy, make it seem like he's gonna win it, go crazy with it. And it'd be cool if MJF got one over him. Like, even if it was just like really, really dirty, that could be something for the end of his career. MJF could say like, oh, I beat MJF. But yeah, some missed opportunities like that. Other than that, you know what? It's been a great career by Sting. I wish, just like Booker T and stuff like that, he did go to WWE and test out his luck, because I'm sure his life was, in a different state. His mental state was different, but I definitely believe that he would have gotten a whole bunch of world championships, WWE championships. At the end of the day, he was so talented. He's so good that he would have gotten to that top level as well in the WWE, and like that would put him in the conversation of the Mount Rushmore of wrestling. Like, even now, without his WWE run, and I only say WWE because in the past 20 years before AEW was a thing, WWE was just the only company around. It was the top of the mountain. That's when we could, like, if he had a career there and a good one, we could say like, oh, top 5 wrestlers, include Sting in there maybe. You know what I mean? I would still include him in the top wrestlers of all time. It's just, that when I look back at his career is something I wish we've seen of him. But Yeah, overall, positive vibes. Rest in peace to Darby Allin. Hopefully not, by the way, I'm saying it jokingly because he's going to Mount Everest. That is scary. But yeah, that's it, man. Sting. Long career. I know a lot of friends, especially older ones, that got emotional with that retirement. So it's kind of sad to see him go, but hey, father time, just like Sting says, it catches up to you. And this is a good final showtime.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I agree. CD in the chat says his retirement speech had to be cut due to timing, but they kept their tapes rolling and posted it. CD, I told them a million times, they don't understand it. They thought TK needed to get on the phone with the pay-per-view people and said, extend it. Give us 10 more minutes. Things out there.
I'll ask you a simple question. You're playing a game, okay? And then the game wants you to know something. And it tells you to, okay, go to that store in real life and find this book and read it. That's stupid. No, I want to see what I need to know in the game, in the freaking game, in the menu. Like, if you're giving me a paper, you give it fully. And it sings retirement speech. It's not John Cena having fun, breaking kayfabe.
I think more people saw it this way.
Because more people
got.
You could have posted it after.
They did. That's exactly what they did.
No, I'm saying you could have overrun and posted
it to a bigger audience.
Bro,
do you want to give it to a limited pay-per-view audience, or do you want to give that retirement speech?
Are you serious?
I think you're just trolling at this point. Like, there's no way you have this opinion.
I'm not going to spark the argument back up. We all feel how we.
I tried avoiding it.
After almost a week later, we still don't agree. So we can.
I also don't think Sting could do a singles match. I don't think we saw a singles match out of Sting for a reason. Yeah, go ahead.
I think if he was able to, and he felt like he was able to do a singles match, he would have done it. But I think that's why he got the tag team match. So I'm fine with it. But you know what? Of all of his runs and everywhere, I think the AEW run was great. His worst run was in WWE. Of all the promotions he went to, his worst run was in WWE, and it should not have been that way. When they had Sting and he could still go, he should have faced the Undertaker.
Man.
They blew it.
Yeah.
What you saying? You don't agree, Kero? You don't agree?
They blew it. He said they blew it.
Oh yeah, they blew it, and that's all I can say.
Nobody wanted to see Triple H.
The match was great. I think his retirement match was perfect. Crazy, absolutely insane. Look what he did in his retirement match at old age, jumping off of a ladder through a table. Just crazy. Darby Allin, you could say he didn't need to do what he's doing, but he's building his legacy. Obviously, he likes to be hurt for some reason. This is what Jeff Hardy used to do, just on a lower scale. Now we're in 2024, and you got to raise that bar higher. And Darby Allin, unfortunately, is the guy who's doing it, and he's probably going to kill himself doing it. So
look at Jeff Hardy. You know what I mean? He's miserable right now.
But I mean, Darby Allin sees that, and he's following in his footsteps. So I mean, it's not going to end well. But hey, I can't tell that man to not do what he wants to do.
Yeah.
But you guys summed it up very well. Just a few little things I would like to add there. But Bryan, what did you think about the retirement match?
I thought the retirement match was good. Darby Allin's spot was insane, but also it's going to be memorable. I think 5 years down the line, if AEW is still here, I'm just fine. It's still going to be talked about. I think it was a crazy spot nonetheless. He could have not been walking after that spot. I'm not gonna lie. The way he hit himself at the when he hit the chair. But the good thing that I did hear, there was a report that said they really they tested this stunt. There was doctors all around the place, so it's not like it was something that was like, all right, I'm gonna do this, and whatever happens, happens. He was well taken care of after, even though a lot of lacerations. But
they had an alternate finish.
But you guys know what? Apparently, this was not candy glass. This was real glass.
Yeah, that brother's tripping. Bro.
Okay.
But the only thing with that I'll say is, I once again, me and Kero on the same page with this one. Don't cut Sting's retirement match early or retirement speech early. That's about it for me.
All right. Well, that wraps up Sting's retirement. Man, looks like the chat don't want to cancel Christmas on Bryan. Y'all vote yeses in the chat so we can cancel Christmas on Bryan.
Why
anything else y'all want to add? I already pushed my stream back like 3 times. So anything else y'all want to add before we jump off of here?
Nah, we're good.
Man, we covered it all.
Yeah.
Mercedes Moné.
I hope Darby comes back. I hope Darby comes back from Mount Everest. That's all I really want to say about that.
We're going to put up the positive thoughts in the air. If you believe in a higher power, we're going to put all the prayers out that Darby Allin makes it back from Mount Everest, because that guy he's got a death wish. Unfortunately, we can see it on TV every week. But Kero,
For me, as a footnote, I'm just low-key excited about Gunter and Chad Gable being a thing. They seem to be building it well, and I want to see that at WrestleMania, man. It could be a show stealer. So that's it. So I wanted to add.
Agreed.
all right.
Awesome.
Well, guys, again, I am going to stream on my channel, Kenny Bond. We're going to be streaming the last match, WWE 2K24. That's all I got to say. Y'all to come see what it is.
Yes,
But
sir.
Kero, get us up out of this building.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us tonight in another semi-heated. It could have gone a lot worse, but maybe next
All right,
week.
I tried to get Bryan there.
There you go.
go
Yeah. Not this week, but you know what? We're at the end. Thank you so much for joining us. Appreciate you. As always, ladies and gentlemen, we'll see you on the next one. We are getting out of here.
Yes,
Peace.
sir. And y'all make sure to stay in this stream. Y'all gonna be redirected right to Kenny's stream. All right.
Wait,
So
no,
we
it
gonna
starts
catch-
at 15. It starts at 10:15.
Oh, I they could just go over there and wait. It's cool. We
Oh,
gonna
yeah, y'all
catch
go ahead and
y'all.
wait. Kenny
Don't
Bond.
get angry.
But we
I'll
gonna
be on at
catch y'all, man.
10:15. I gotta go eat something.
For sure.
Yeah.
Get it.